Starting my first broadcast, and I'm on Hangout on here. Um, how is everybody out there? How about the crazy Democrats thinking they can kill children as they're coming out of the womb? Uh, what do you think we should do with these sick people? It's getting pretty serious, folks. People like that are out there. Um, we need more God brought into our government and our schools and universities. Um, we got to drive out these unethical people, people who want to murder little babies and snuff your life out because they think that you're not important. I think it's a real sick time in America. If we don't do something about it, we're going to lose it. My name is Charlie, and I'm a staunch conservative and staunch Trump supporter, and I follow QAnon. Um, I have interest in guitars and amps. As you can see, the guitars hanging in the background. There's my Q vest. I had a little kitty cat back here on the bed, but he moved. He wants to go out. He's at the door. Whenever I get the guitar out and play music, it must hurt his ears, or he's trying to tell me something that maybe I shouldn't play music. Anyway, my cat critic down there wants to get loose. So I think I'll open the door and let him through. Out you go. Come on. Well, I guess you don't want to go. He must have found a bug down here by the door and he's trying to hunt it down. Because I tried to boot him a little to make him go through the door and he just squats right down and says, no, there's something here. Now he's watching it. So I think he saw occasional cortex down there, the cockroach. My cat's a conservative cat. He likes to hunt down cockroaches. Well, let's see. What does invite people do? Oh, wow. I can key in names or email, add and invite. Well, I guess I'll close that. I don't know what to do with it. So, oh, there's even a phone icon up here. You are currently broadcasting. Exiting this hangout on air will also stop this broadcast. You want to know, continue broadcast. See, I'm just trying to learn this. This is my first live. I haven't put together any format to broadcast. I don't have any notes down or anything like that. I'm just winging it here just to see if it even works. It may not be working. I can't really tell. It says it's broadcasting. but as far as knowing, I don't have a monitor on to see. Maybe if I brought up my other computer, I could tell whether it's really doing anything. Oh, let me see. I know I have 0 viewers, so they're probably lucky. And I'm not going to drag this on too long, but I'm going to see if I can find it on YouTube with my other computer back here. It'll take a couple minutes to come up, but if it's on there, I hope I can find it. I'll give it a minute. Usually there's stuff running in the background and things don't come right up when you select them. So I'll just give it a minute. And if there's nothing come up on Microsoft Explorer, then I'll try it again. I'll try to select it. But I had to use Google Chrome here to even do a live. I couldn't do it under the Edge Explorer. Let's give it another try here. Okay, Edge is up. Got to go through all this garbage on here. Get it out of the way so that, come on. goes out. I don't know what the problem is here. There, finally. I hate the touchpads on those laptops. Oh, let's look under live. See if I'm there. Featured live streams. See some live stuff on here, but I don't see me. Okay. Oh, wait. I got to sign in. Why do I have to sign in? It was already in my YouTube channel. I don't see why I have to sign in just to use stuff. Yeah. Okay. Everything pops up that you don't want. Let's run into something. Alt left. There's alt. I'll give it another try here. No, I don't see anything there. No results. Don't recognize searching for me. Yeah, it's backspace here. Uh,
Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin. This is Levin TV on BlazeTV.com.
okay.
On the camera.
Well, I don't even know if it's doing anything because I can't find anything on that computer. Oh well. I guess I need to find somebody to teach me how to do this and get it right before I think too much about getting into it. For an old guy like me, it's hard to figure out things sometimes. Takes a while for things to sink in, you know. Oh, let's see. Well, guess up, down, or off. Eject any bad actors. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. What's this? Cameraman. Well, let's see what this cameraman does here. Hmm. I don't really know what it's doing. What's this? Screen share. Let's look at screen share. Oh yeah, that would show things that I have on my desktop. Is what that would do. Is there? It shows the sidebar here. Show or hide participants with that button. Broadcast just guest join. Hide their audio and video from my broadcast. Broadcast a large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. New guests in my large broadcast are muted when they join. Okay. Okay. Share your screen. Chrome wants to share the contents of your screen with Hangouts. Google. Choose what you'd like to share. Okay, let me just try this here and see what it does. Oh, that's why I've seen that some of these screens that go on to infinity before on other people's videos. You are screen sharing. You are screen sharing and presenting to everyone. Okay. I'm still supposedly broadcasting. Chat. Yeah. Well, let's see. I'll enter a chat message. As you can see, my picture of me is from many years ago when I still had color in my hair. I was a young lad, probably probably 24 years of age at that time. Got my hair all goofed up here. I don't think I even brushed it yet this morning. Sometimes when I get up early and go outside or something, I throw a hat on and I never end up brushing my hair until later on when I pull the hat off. Get somewhat presentable there. Cover it easy and it shouldn't mess it up. Okay. Yeah, let's do a few things here. Over here, I've got a Gretsch Projet Electromatic. It's got the trem on it. This is a Savannah Gretsch with a trem on it. It's an acoustic Gretsch, but it's got a thicker top on than normal Savannah does, so that it holds up to the tremolo. So it really doesn't ring out that much unless it's plugged into an amplifier because of the thick top. It deadens the sound, but it sounds pretty nice when it's playing through an amp. This here is another Gretsch. I'm trying to think what it, Streamliner, something like that. Double cutaway. That has a tremolo on it too, I believe. Yep. Let's see. And right here, this is a Les Paul Gibson. It used to be a robot. I took the internal stuff out of it that controlled the tuning and everything, and I put the like mini tune on instead because it's a lot less messing around with it. And I accidentally cut a cable in there that was a flat ribbon cable, and I couldn't get the part. I tried to order the cable and it was never in stock, so I got mad at them for lack of support of the the guitar, they tried to sell you on them, and then they didn't have parts for them when you needed it. So I just tore that crap out, and I put the mini tune on, and that doesn't have anything I can goof up too bad if I'm careful and don't grab hold of a peg when it's doing its self-tuning and strip anything. That works good, and that's a great sounding guitar. This is great sounding, and it sounds pretty good. This one here is decent sounding guitar, but it's a cheapie, you know. That's a great sounding one, and that's great sounding. That Pro-Jet is nice. And then over here on the wall, out of view, is my other Les Paul, and it's just a flat top. It's not contoured on the top. It's a faded cherry. That sounds great too. It's got great tone. That only was like a $800 guitar, something like that, brand new when I bought it. Yeah, but it sounds every bit as good as this other one here. It's got the same pickups. Now that other one I was playing earlier, the G5420T, orange colored. That sounds great. And I've got two other guitars. I've got a Fender American built Stratocaster with the humbucker in the bridge position, and I've got a Mexican Telly with the wide caster type wide field pickups on it. I can't think of the name of it. Humbuckers. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to, well, I'll talk a little bit about some of the amp builds. I've built 3 amps now. My first one was a Mojo Tone 5E3 kit, and I got everything, the cabinet and everything, and I wired it all up and put it together, and sounded great. So a couple years later, I was getting itchy to build something again, and I built another 5E3, but this time I bought all the parts from different vendors, and I bought me a table saw and sawed up all the lumber to build the cabinet, and I finger jointed it. I made a jig for the table saw that I can index, cut slots with dados, and then index to the next slot. Just go ahead and cut those out, and then offset the mating pieces so that they would interconnect and be lined up right for each corner. And I did natural wood finish. I think it was pecan. Well, natural wood, but I stained it pecan. And then I sprayed gloss on the cabinet, and I built a 212 cabinet to go with it. That's a beautiful sounding rig. And in fact, both of those 5E3s are, but I've got a larger cabinet on the one I built. I built it at like 2 inches higher than the original standard cabinet. And I don't know, it seems to sound a little bit different than the shorter cabinet. I kind of like it pretty good. It sounds good. And both of them sound great, but there's just a little bit of difference. Pine. And then with the 212 cabinet, I mean, it really puts out the sound. It probably would keep up with an average drummer easy. Might not hold up to some guy that really bears down on the drumming, you know. But it's plenty loud and plenty of tone. So anyway, a couple of years later, I got the itch again. I wanted something with tremolo, so I since I had the big 212 cab, I didn't build anything that had a speaker in it. I build a head, a 6G3 with tremolo. I built that, and I got a Harbor Freight dovetail fixture, and I did it in dovetails. That came out nice. It looks nice. And I used, instead of gloss finish over the stain, I used semi-gloss. And there's a little bit of difference, but it's got plenty of shine to it anyway. You put your different coats on, and then you sand it, then you use, you know, higher grit sanding, and then you go to like a 3M type pad for finishing, and then wax it. And it's got plenty of gloss and everything. And that come out pretty good, but I think I've got a grounding problem with across the potentiometers. It's kind of it's not as crystal clear sounding. I didn't put a ground bus across the potentiometers like I did the other two. And this 6G3 has an extra plate, a face plate that goes on, and everything goes through, and it holds a face plate. So I'm thinking I'm not getting as good a grounding connection, and that's why it's not as crystal clear and chimey. So I think what I'm going to do is solder a bus bar across the back of the pots and see if that makes any difference, because some of the guys on forums and stuff that I've talked to, they think it's a ground or wire dress problem, And I've done everything with the wires and moved them around. I rewired my filaments and made sure they were twisted. And because I had like parallel, like lamp style cord in there. And the theory is if everything's parallel, then it eliminates noise. If you've got single wires and they're apart and they're running it, there's interference in between them. So what the guys usually like to do is they'll take and run the two wires, the separate single wires, maybe a green and a black one, and you twist them together tight so that it keeps the wires in a parallel spiral, and that cuts noise interference down. So instead of using the straight molded cord that is nice and parallel between the wires, I took that all out and did the single wires and twisted them, and that didn't make any difference at all. So I know it wasn't the filaments. The filaments were fine. I could have left it as it was, but the only thing different between the other amps that I built is the way I did the ground bus across the pots. And I think it's a little bit more serious with the chassis that has the faceplate, because you're going through two pieces and one piece is painted. You know, it's actually painted front and back. So when you put your pots and jacks in with your star washers and things like that, you're not actually getting as good a connection maybe as like the 5E3s. There's no second piece. It's a chrome plated on the chassis, and it's one piece, and you're just going through one section, where with a faceplate you're going through two. And I think that's where my problem lies on that 6G3. Well, I got it apart out in my shop. It's kind of cool out there now, and even though we're in Florida, we're going through a cold spell here, and I just ain't been in the mood to go out there and mess around with it. One of these days I'll go ahead and go in there and move some wires around so I can get in there and solder a bus bar across the back of the pots and ground the inputs and everything to the bus bar too. And hopefully that'll be what I need to clear it out good, make it sound clear. Well, I guess I've talked long enough. And I'll probably shut this down and see if it has saved it anywhere. I have no idea if it is. It says I'm live broadcasting. So, adios, my friends.